And why did Abraham obey? Why did Abraham obey? How could a parent do this? Forced to choose between God and a child. Because God had promised heirs through Isaac. God had promised heirs through Isaac. We see this in the preceding chapter. Genesis 21:11 says, this matter of sending Ishmael into the desert bothered him greatly. But God said to Abraham, do not be so distressed about the boy and the slave woman. Listen to what Sarah tells you, because it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. And so just there, just a few years previous, that promise had been repeated. It's through Isaac that the promise will be fulfilled to you, that you're going to have descendants as numerous as the sand on the seashore, as the stars in the sky. Abraham obeyed because he believed that God's promises transcend death. We've got no record of anyone being raised from the dead prior to Abraham, but Abraham is saying Abraham believes in the resurrection of the dead even before we see pictures of that happening. He's saying that even if I raise the knife and slay my son, I know that somehow God will resurrect him, God will preserve him. God's promises transcend death. So why this disturbing and seemingly senseless illustration? Why did it have to be Isaac? Why did it have to be death? Because we must believe as Abraham did. We must believe as Abraham did. We must believe that God's promises transcend death. We've got to. We have to. Sometime this is going to hit home. It probably already has for you. I mean, all the funerals that we've been at, just think about that. We're sitting there and we've got a loved one in the casket, a father, a son, a sibling, a spouse. Do we believe that God's promises transcend death? Do we believe that He is greater and more powerful, and that what He's given us in His Word and the sacrifice that He made on the cross on our behalf, that's not going to stop when our hearts stop here on earth? We've got to believe that God's promises transcend death.